Hey,
my
Room
winning.
21
It's
Rockstar
like
families, and
25 the
welcome
lobster.
to our weekly VODCAST as we head into this, last full school week of January with all those days off in the coming weeks. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. It was good to see a lot of you out there at the Stafford Math Expo on Saturday. And we are ready to kick off an incredible week in Room 21. So a few quick announcements, and then I'll send you off to the strategy session today. First of all, I would like to congratulate this week's Rockstar of the Week, Dylan Nodorf. Dylan has had some incredible improvements with his greetings, as well as just his general leadership in the classroom and, taking risks and having courage to start chants and different things like that. Incredibly proud of you, Dylan, this week's Rockstar of the Week. On Thursday, I sent home a neon green paper, which is a permission form for your scholar to have a Google Apps for Education account here at Barrett. Our classroom is going to pilot this program at school, and basically what it is your scholar is going to have a Gmail account. That gives them the ability to be able to get onto the program here at school. Now, the thing about it is, yes, they're going to have an email address. It cannot be used beyond our classroom. I have the controls and those locked down. It basically gives them access to an account. Now, you may be saying, well, what are we going to be doing on this Google Apps account? Well, a couple of things. In writing, what I can do is I can take an assignment and I can push it out to the entire class, and I can give them feedback and comments in real time as they're working, as well as other students can be editing and revising papers all simultaneously. And that's just the beginning, guys. It's just an incredible platform that the scholars are going to be using in middle and high school anyway, and most likely college. And I really think it's going to be a great addition to our classroom. So if you can sign that permission form and bring it in as soon as possible, we're going to get those accounts up and running. If you have any further questions about the Google Apps for Education accounts, just do not hesitate to contact me, call me, email me. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions. And I will also provide you with the username and password of your scholar so that you can get onto their account and see what it's all about as well. Okay, and I'm hoping at a coming family night in a couple of weeks to actually show you the Google Apps for Education account so you can kind of peruse it as well. Now, a couple of school days coming that we have off in the near future. Next Monday, which is January 19th, is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. There's no school. On Monday, January 26th, the following Monday, we have an early out. And on Tuesday, that is a teacher work day as we prepare the quarter 2 report cards to send home. On January 26th, we also have our health and fitness night. I hope to see you all there. There will be more information coming home pretty soon. I know a form was sent home in the Friday folder detailing that event a little bit, but it's just a really great way to see what we have available in the community concerning health and fitness, and some great activities for the kids to participate in as well. I hope to see you all at that event. Now, tentatively, okay, I'm really kind of bouncing back and forth. I'm looking at having a family night on February 2nd, which is a Monday, because the scholars are actually going to be working on a project dealing with our Social Studies Explorers unit, and that's going to be the night when they get to present it, and you are going to be their audience. So I'm thinking about February 2nd as that night. It may change, but right now it looks like that is a firm date for that. And also on February 3rd, there is a Mixed Spirit Night at the McDonald's across from Walmart on 610, and that is actually specifically for Barrett Academy. Basically what's happening is we're going to be collecting cans, and all the proceeds that are raised that night are going to go to local charities, and McDonald's is going to have a few of the scholars actually present those funds to some local charities. So we definitely want to support that on February 3rd, and more information will be coming home really, really shortly. Now, I think I got through all of the announcements. Now I'm going to send you over to the strategy session, and I'll see you guys on the other. Okay, Room 21 Rockstar, so this week we're beginning our venture into fractions. So starting for next week's VODCAST, I'm really going to have a lot of practice for that. So hold tight for that. This week I'm going to have a lot of review, and I'm also providing you guys this week with decimal and fraction equivalent cards. I really, really, really want you to have those down solidly to the point that they're absolutely automatic. So tomorrow you'll be cutting those out, and I want you to be studying those all week long. And I also provide a link here in our Class Fusion page where, the card sheet that you're going to be cutting out will be available if you just want to look at them from here as well. So for math this week, if you scroll down with me to the class news section, I just want you to check out a couple of sites that are going to help you to review what we've been working on in class. So the first one, under fraction and decimal equivalencies, is a site, and it's actually a card game. Okay, and you can choose a full screen version if you want of the card game, and you can choose how many cards you want. If you want a higher challenge, you could do 24 cards. And you're essentially going to click on a card, and you have to find that fraction or decimals equivalent. Okay, and it's kind of a memory game. So 1/10, well, the 20%, those are no good. So let's try another one. 54%, 17%, those are not equivalent. So at first you kind of have to get your bearings. Well, those are actually equivalent, so those get to stay there. And then you get to see kind of how things are. Obviously those are not equivalent. 60%, 3/5. Check that one out. Okay, and then you keep going. So this is going to help you to find those decimal and fraction equivalents. This will also help you with the challenge that I'm providing you cards within class for to totally get those down so that they are automatic by the end of the week. Okay, so that is one such task that you guys could work on. So you're probably saying, well, Mr. Reichert, how can I get a few house points for this? Well, what I want you to do, if you participate in this game, is simply have someone sign a little sheet of paper or whatever you're recording all of your results on for this, and then I will give you 5 house points for each game that you play here. Okay, make sure we're honest and play the game, and then you'll get your 5 house points there. Now I'm going to take you back a page. One more page, back to the Class Fusion page. There's one more area. Now, this is adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing decimals within word problems, okay? So these are kind of tough. So if you show your work for each of these, okay, and you enter your answer here, and you figure out the operation you need to go about, and you write all that down, I will give you guys 5 house points per problem, okay? So I'm putting a bunch out there on the table this week, especially since a few houses kind of have to catch up, but one such problem would be Matt hikes a 5 6/10 mile trail each month. How many miles will Matt hike in 3 months? Okay, so if that's 1 per month, obviously we have to multiply there. Don't forget to move in that decimal at the end. Okay, so those are some problems. 5 house points apiece. Bring in your work and you will get those there. So that's what I have for you this week in math. And like I said, tomorrow in class you're going to be receiving some fraction and decimal equivalency cards as well, so that you can continue to practice those equivalent fractions and decimals. I want those to be incredibly, incredibly strong for the future, especially as we're getting into our fraction, adding and subtracting fraction unit coming up this week here. Okay, so that is math. Over into reading, obviously I always have these questions available here, and I always give you that opportunity. Even if you're not using your 40 book goal to be answering questions like this, you could always use some nonfiction text. Take a magazine article, take a newspaper article, anything like that. Find, a way to compare and contrast something. These are just simply some questions that you can use. Okay, if you compare and contrast something in some text you read, I'd like you to identify the genre of the text. Okay, you can draw the Venn diagram, the classic Venn diagram, or you could do something else, as long as you're showing compare and contrast. And I'll give you 5 house points for that as well, guys, to practice our reading comprehension skill of the week. And finally, writing this week. I used this prompt last year, and I thought it was kind of cool. So basically, they kind of give you the history of how Ben Franklin made some resolutions for the new year. And we've been talking about the last week or so in class, so I thought this would be a cool way to tie that in. Basically, what you're to do here is you're to do the same thing that Ben Franklin did. You're to make a list of 5 decisions or resolutions you would ideally like to make happen in your life, and then give some specifics as to how you will make them happen. What would success at those resolutions look like on a daily basis? Making a chart is optional, but recommended. That's kind of what Ben Franklin did. So you can get yourself 5 house points for that. And I also gave you the challenge, try to include some figurative language, in that plan. Figurative language can be anywhere, including in your writing. practice as well. You know, looking at the house point race for the week, we once again have the orange and red house neck and neck, and it seems like the blue and green house neck and neck. So this is a great opportunity to get some house points doing the VODCAST, guys. I'll tell you tomorrow that the fraction and decimal equivalency cards, if you come over to the table when I quiz you and you get those down with automaticity, meaning they're automatic answers, you're going to get yourself 25 house points as well, guys. So the secret code this week is hashtag Marco Polo. Hashtag Marco Polo. And you have to kind of make it sound like, you know, you're in a swimming pool and you're playing the game Marco Polo. You can get yourself 5 house points for that hashtag, guys, as well. And you may be finally asking yourself, well, Mr. Riker, what can I do this week in social studies to advance my understanding? Well, tomorrow we're going to begin our Giant Explorers unit, okay? So you're going to be finding out about a project that you're going to begin in class this week. And once you find out about that, I think you're going to find what I'd like you to work on at home. So I'm not going to provide anything online this week for you to work on to bring that social studies into play. I just want to kind of have you stick with that, okay? And finally, remember, guys, you can always follow us on Twitter at Record Rock. Our YouTube videos are always available on Twitter, as well as a ton of cool links that I find, and just some really, really cool ways to incorporate your learning at home. So, at Record Rock, hashtag Marco Polo, bring it in tomorrow. Now I'm going to send you back over to Mr. Record. From 21 Rockstar families, I hope that those strategies were successful. I hope that you're using them at home, especially if we have coming snow days, days off. These are great, great videos to use at home to apply those strategies we're learning in class right inside of your home. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, do not hesitate to contact me. You know, you guys are the best families in Stafford County, and I will see you next week.
Played a lot of you, my winning. It's like 25 the lives that you bust out of prison.